Today's story is another from Uncle Nog's Bag of Tricks. Now, every year, Uncle Nog would appear at winter solstice or perhaps closer to Christmas. And as he appeared, he would come with the hugest rucksack you ever saw, almost big enough to put a small child in. But it was always full of socks. You might wonder why it was full of socks. Well, the thing is that Uncle Nog liked to pack things in socks, usually climbing socks. He had a big thing for buying climbing socks. Well, each year everybody would turn up, well, all the children anyway, and sometimes followed by a dog or two, and they would go down to Uncle Nog's room, which was always at the end of the west wing. They put him down there, he thought, because of the view, but actually I think their parents put him down there in case he blew something up. Anyway, there they were, this particular year, watching as Uncle Nog unpacked. He took the first couple of socks out of the bag. They contained cheese. Uncle Nog was very partial to cheese. And then a bottle of wine came out of another sock. And then another sock came out, and the sock kind of rolled and wriggled, and then the sock squawked. Went, the children looked at the socks. That was being a bit peculiar. Ignore it, said Uncle Nog. It's just a squawking sock. And he took out a box, an intricately patterned box, which he placed about the size of a shoebox, which he placed on the bed next to the squawking, wriggling sock. The squawking, wriggling sock, the end of the knot came undone, and gradually the head of a parrot appeared. "Let me out! You packed me!" "Oh, we had a stowaway. You stowed away in my bag. How dare you stow away?" "I didn't stow away," said the parrot. "You put me in there. You picked me up, stuffed me in a sock with all the other things when you were stuffing cheese and wine and all the other things into socks." At that point, the parrot climbed right out of the sock, flew off and landed upon Patrick's head. Right on the top, it peered over, right into Patrick's eyes. Patrick looked up. "Oh," said Patrick. "Hello." "Hello," said the parrot. "Got any chocolate?" "No, I haven't, not at the moment," said Patrick. The parrot took off from Patrick's head and landed on the top of a lamp, where it sat and sulked and looked miserable. Uncle Nog just looked at it and ignored it for a moment. Then he said, "Would some chocolate help?" "Might do," said the parrot. Uncle Nog took out another sock from the bag, undid the end, and lo and behold appeared about 10 bars of different sorts of chocolate. It was heaven for the children. But some of the bars were that very, very dark, very rich chocolate that only their granny liked. Well, he unwrapped one of the bars of chocolate, broke it into bits, put some on the bed. The parrot flew down, grabbed a chunk, went up, landed on the light again, and held the piece of chocolate in one claw, which it then nibbled away at. The intricate box that Nog had taken out of the sock. Then something strange began to happen. It was a slight whirring noise, and from each corner of the box came a leg. Each leg had a knobbly knee, and at the end of each leg, following the knobbly knee, was a foot, and on each foot was a trainer. It was very strange. The 4 legs lifted the box off the bed, scuttled over to where the chocolate was. Then the lid opened, a hand appeared, and zip, pulled some chocolate back into the box, when it scuttled back to where it had been, and the legs disappeared again. The children just looked, and they were amazed. "What's that, Uncle Nog?" "Well, come back another day and I'll show it to you," he said. "But right now, I need to unpack all my things. So if you give me 5 minutes peace and quiet, I'll see you again later." And with that, the children disappeared. Uncle Nog unpacked, and they thought not a lot more about it because there were other interesting things to do in the house. Patrick and Elby, the following day, were feeling a bit fed up. They needed something to do. They wanted something to amuse them. They thought, "We'll go and see Uncle Nog." So that's what they did. Off they went up to Uncle Nog's room, knocked on the door, and Uncle Nog invited them in. "What would you like?" he said. "Can we see that box?" "Oh, yes, if you like." The box was given to them. As much as they poked it, prodded it, knocked it, tapped it, tried to open the lid, nothing happened. He said, "You've got to ask it nicely." "Oh." So they put it down, and Patrick said to the box, "Box, please will you open and give us something?" The box shivered. It kind of shook a bit. Then it whirred. The lid opened, the hand appeared and held out, and on the palm of the hand was a pointy stick. Albie reached out, took the pointy stick, and the hand zapped back in the box. "Oh, it's given you the pointy stick," said Uncle Nog. "Be careful with that. Experiment a bit, but think about what you're doing." Then he grinned and he winked, and the two boys took the pointy stick and left the room. Now, as they left the room, they thought, what are we supposed to do with it? Maybe we've got to poke things with it. They tried poking the handle of Mum's bedroom door, and as they poked it, the handle turned into chocolate. Oh no, that's going to be fairly useless, isn't it? "We could eat the handle, though," said Albie. "Well, we could do, but then how are they going to open the door?" "We are going to have to think about this carefully," they said. They left the handle where it was, and they headed off down towards the kitchen. Now, in the kitchen, Cook was preparing a special meal with roast turkey and roast potatoes and all sorts of things, because the adults were having some important guests over, including the mayor, who was judging a prize to see who was going to cook the best dinner in the village. Well, Cook was determined to win. The boys appeared in the kitchen just before the moment of serving up. The turkey was sitting on a plate, resting quietly. The boys reached out with the stick, touched the turkey, and lo and behold, from being a steaming, roasting turkey, it now turned into a chocolate turkey. "Oh, look at that," they said. "What happens if we touch the potatoes?" They reached out, touched each potato, and all the potatoes turned to chocolate. They poked the stick into the pot of steaming peas. Each of the peas turned to chocolate peas. They put it in the gravy. The gravy turned to chocolate sauce. Just as Cook appeared, they disappeared. "Oh no! What's happened? My cooking," said Cook. What? No. "Oh no, it's completely ruined. It's a disaster. Oh no." She started to wail and weep bitterly just as the butler came in and said, "Whatever's the matter, Cook? The people are ready for their dinner." "Well, I served up and something's happened to it. You better just take it in and see what happens." They took They followed the butler as he pushed the big tray, the big trolley full of all the goodies of chocolate into the room and put it on the table. And when people looked, at first they were a bit surprised. Then the closer they looked, they started to clap. And they clapped and cheered because they thought it was the most wonderful thing they'd ever seen. Fancy having a cook who could make a Christmas dinner just out of chocolate. How clever, how skillful, how wonderful. And the mayor awarded her the prize on the spot, and she was sent for, and as she came into the room, they all stood up and clapped. And the two boys just grinned and walked off towards Uncle Nog's room. As they passed the door handle, just by experiment, they poked it again, and it turned back from chocolate into the way it should have been. Then they knocked on Uncle Nog's door. They said, "I think we'd better give you the stick back. We've caused enough problems for one day," they said. Uncle Nog said, "Thank you. Come back again another time for another story and another adventure."